Welcome to this week's edition of Outdoors Online, a weekly webcast produced by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I'm your host, Tom Jensen. Summer is quickly approaching, a time when our state's wildlife management areas get a lot of use. My guest this week is Casey Anderson. Casey is the Assistant Wildlife Division Chief for Game and Fish. We're going to talk about our WMAs, wildlife management areas, some of the rules and regulations that you need to follow and people may not be aware of. Casey, first of all, I guess let's talk about our wildlife management areas. How many do we have?
Across the state, we've got a little over 200 wildlife management areas, and they're scattered throughout the state.
Geographically,
yeah.
Pretty much anywhere.
Yep, depending on, parts of the region, some are bigger than others.
If someone weren't familiar with them, they could pick up probably one of our plots guides. And
yeah, the plots guides would show them all where they're located, and it also would have the list of them in the back that kind of shows exactly how to get to them, driving directions and things like that.
They can find them on the Game and Fish website as well.
Yep.
People should realize that these WMAs, some of them are small, some of them are very, very large.
Yeah, they range anywhere from a 5-acre fishing access type of wildlife management area to anywhere up to 10,000 plus acres.
Okay, rules and regulations, Casey. Now, first off, let's talk about camping. We implemented a few new rules a couple of years ago that people might not be aware of.
Yeah, camping on wildlife management areas is, on a standard one, is typically 10 days. You can camp for 10 days without having to leave. Now, we have across the state, there's certain areas that get more pressure than others and things like that, and so we have some wildlife management areas you can't camp any Tuesdays and Wednesdays unless that's waived for a holiday or things like that, which we would post and get out to the public if we were going to waive some of those regulations. And others you can't camp at all. And the reasons vary from, just the excess pressure, number of people, sometimes in areas where the population is high or for example, housing is limited, people will try to use these areas as almost a place to try to live. And so that's why some of those regulations were put in place.
How could a person tell if they were going to a particular WMA what the regulation on camping is?
If there's something other than the 10 days, it'll be posted on a sign, whether it's closed to camping or whether there's no camping on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And the other way they can tell is they can go to our webpage, and we'll have those listed on our webpage, or call the office, one of our offices, and they'll be able to tell you too.
We're a little less than a month away from the 4th of July, so we need to talk about fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks are prohibited on wildlife management areas. On all wildlife management areas. And that's due to the risk of fire and just being courteous to other campers that may be out there. Somebody might not want to hear you shooting off fireworks at 2 in the morning. So,
how about firearms?
Firearms, well, on a wildlife management area, they're open to public hunting. And so if you're engaged in a hunting activity, the firearms and the discharging or shooting of the firearms is perfectly normal. But if people are going to be out target shooting, the target shooting is only allowed on designated ranges that we have on some of our wildlife management areas. And so you can find a list of those on the webpage and things like that too. But
one of the biggest problems that Game and Fish encounters on these wildlife management areas is, of course, litter. We talked to some of the game wardens that'll tell you that they've carried out, no exaggeration, tons of litter, things that people just throw away. What's the importance of people picking up trash?
Well, it leaves it nice for the next guy, the pack it in, pack it out type of thing. The other thing it does is, it can disturb wildlife too, the amount of litter that gets out there, or the types of litter, that would maybe get out there. So the best thing to do is to, pack it in, pack it out. Some of our higher use WMAs, you want to look for, we usually have places you can put it, trash cans or dumpsters,
right?
And so people should look for those, especially on a more highly used one.
What people should keep in mind, I guess, is to be courteous and be aware of their neighbors, huh?
Yep.
All right, Casey, thanks. As Casey mentioned, you can find a complete list of wildlife management areas in the Game and Fish Department's Plots Guide. They're available at Game and Fish headquarters in Bismarck and all district offices across the state. Most sporting goods stores will have the plots guides available, or if you've got access to a computer, log on to the Game and Fish website at gf.nd.gov and then follow the links to the Wildlife Management Areas page. There's bound to be one near you. For Casey Anderson and the rest of the staff here at North Dakota Game and Fish, thanks for joining us for Outdoors Online. We'll see you again next week.